Go.
Hey everybody, welcome to this Thursday CEO Community Training. Today we are talking all about booking. We were chatting right before the call started that going into October, November, and December is the busiest time of year. It's a great time to book. People are in a good mood. They're looking forward to the holidays. They already probably have plans to get together with friends and family, so it's a great time to book. We are going to be doing a community-wide booking blitz next week. So sync up with your teams because individual leaders are scheduling specific times to try and do a booking blitz with their teams. And we're going to talk today about why do you do a booking blitz and what is it? How do I do it? And so first off, a booking blitz is really we recommend an hour of dedicated time, and it's all about filling up your calendar with tasting events for the coming month and even moving into November and December if you need to. So it's really a good opportunity to sit down and have focused time to pick up the phone and make phone calls and try to schedule some tasting events. So the first place that you can get started is with your why not list. So if you're thinking, I've got no tastings on my calendar, I don't know who to call, I'm kind of stuck, a booking blitz is a great way to get yourself unstuck. And you can do your own booking blitz anytime, but we're really excited that next week as a community, we're all going to get together and really push hard to book together and support each other. So you'll see us posting on Facebook next week, checking in with everybody to see how your booking activities are going. But a great place to start, and maybe you are a brand new CEO and you haven't booked anything yet, now's a great time. Get out your why not list. So if you're going to plan a dedicated hour next week of sitting down on the telephone and making booking calls, you've got to be prepared. So that hour is definitely meant for reaching out and calling and scheduling tasting events. It's not for kind of getting your list together. So in the meantime, what you can do to prepare is, first of all, figure out when your team is doing their blitz next week. If they're not doing a blitz at a specific time, figure out when you're available for a dedicated hour where you won't be interrupted so that you can pick up the phone and make calls. And in the meantime, get yourself ready and figure out who you're going to call. So we have our why not list in the VIA University back office area. So you can download this just kind of as a way to get brainstorming on who you could potentially reach out to host a tasting event. So we also have in VAU, there's also a spreadsheet that you can use. And this is an awesome spreadsheet to use to get yourself started for your customer relationship management and keep track of contact information. So you can put down, obviously, first name, last name, telephone number, addresses if you have it or if you need it, email addresses, and any notes. And a great thing to do is sort your list by, is this lead someone who's hot? Like they told me, hey, I absolutely want to book a tasting event in October because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month and I'm a breast cancer survivor, so I'm absolutely going to host in October. That would definitely be someone who is hot, and you know that you've got a really good shot at booking a tasting event when you call that person. What about somebody that I would put in the warm category? Maybe that's somebody I met at a tasting event, a customer I met at a tasting event that I did last weekend. And he or she told me, yeah, it sounds kind of fun. I'm interested, but I'm really, really busy. So just give me a call. I'd like to learn more about it. I put that in my warm category. And then cold, that might be somebody who, you met several months back, or they expressed an interest several months back, but yet you were never able to get a date on the calendar with them and you haven't connected with them in a while. I would keep them on my prospecting list, but I would maybe categorize them as cold. And so you can download this spreadsheet, or if you don't like it and you want to have more information or you want to look at it in a little bit different way, you can create your own Excel spreadsheet. And then when it comes time to do our booking blitz and you're going to sit down for that dedicated hour, sort your list and start with who's hot. And then you can move your way down through warm and cold. I would put everybody on this list, prospects not only for hosts, but also for CEOs potentially that you might want to recruit to join your teams. And then just in the notes section, you can take notes of Is this person interested in hosting an event? Is this somebody who expressed interest in becoming a CEO? Maybe you could make notes about the last time that you spoke to them. Maybe if they expressed interest in a specific cause or a specific varietal, that's a great place just for you to keep track and manage your contacts. Okay, so the next thing you need to do to get prepared for the booking blitz is open dates. So you figured out what hour it is that you're going to spend next week to pick up the phone and make your calls. Before you do that, print out, you can go to the back office again in VIA University. We've got open dates calendars. We've got one page for each month. I would honestly recommend printing out October, November, and December, and take that and write down first all of your other commitments that you have for maybe a full-time job, part-time job, family, kids, things like that. And then it'll become very clear to you when you're available to do tasting events. So you really want to make sure you do your legwork and do your prep work ahead of time before you pick up the phone. Know specifically what dates you want to offer. So maybe October 14th is the only Saturday that you've got free in October because you have things going on the rest of the month. But generally Wednesday nights, you're pretty open and available. So when you're making your booking calls, I would start out by saying October 14th is the only Saturday I'm available. I would love to schedule a tasting event with you and your friends on that day, if that works for you. If not, I'm available on Wednesday, October 11th or Wednesday, October 25th. Which one's better for you? So definitely know so that you can be in charge of that conversation and you can control your calendar. It's really important to know your availability and when you're willing and able to work versus letting your host kind of guide that conversation, and then all of a sudden this kind of starts to rule your life and you're not as planned as maybe you would like to be. Definitely take control of your calendar for time management and know how many tasting events do you want to do in the month of October? Do you want to do 4? Do you want to do 6? Do you have a huge goal of maybe doing 10? Figure out how many tasting events you want to do in October, November, and December, and use a highlighter and maybe put a big box around those dates that you're open and try to fill up those dates first. And so we always talk about booking in tight. And what that means is you want to book your open dates that are coming up the soonest on the calendar first. Obviously, sometimes people, if you're available October 14th is your earliest date, but it doesn't work for your potential host, but they're available November 14th. Well, of course, you're going to book them on November 14th. But that whole idea and the whole goal is to try to book in tight and book those tasting events on your earliest open dates in the calendar. Whoops. Okay, so those are your open dates. The next thing that we have as a resource for you in VIA University is the 100 No's Challenge. So this is a great time to download and print this off and use it as a little motivator for yourself as you are making your booking calls next week. Generally, it takes about 10 conversations to get one person to say yes. And we all know that we are super busy. A lot of people don't talk on the phone much anymore, and it's kind of rare actually when people do call each other because there's so much texting and Facebook messaging and emailing that's going on. Genuine phone calls don't happen a lot, and so sometimes it can be a little bit scary at the thought of picking up the phone and literally calling 100 people. So break it down and make it manageable for yourself, and that's why we suggest having 1 hour of dedicated time to make your phone calls. You might not get to 100 people in an hour. Maybe you only get to 20 or 30, and that's fine. But this is just kind of a fun goal tracker that as you're making those calls and someone's saying no, check off one of those wine glasses. And when someone says yes, circle the yes down at the bottom of the list so you can reward yourself for getting to your next yes. Okay, so all of these resources that I just showed you and that we just talked about are in VIA University. So if you go into the area that talks about booking and you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see that printout for the 100 No's Challenge that I just showed you. You'll see an Excel spreadsheet for the Why Not Master Contact List that you can download to your computer. And then there's also other great things in there. On the host planner, we have a digital copy of that, and then we've got the 5 steps to hosting as well. Okay, so last thing I wanted to do was talk about the 5 steps to hosting, because maybe you don't know what to say or why should somebody host a tasting event? So first of all, when you are making your phone calls, it's important to make sure that you are connecting with that person one-on-one as a human being before you sort of launch into asking them if they would like to host a tasting event. So that's number one, is make sure that you're taking time to connect with somebody, because it does feel icky if you're just making quote unquote sales calls for an hour. You don't feel good, and the person on the other end of the phone doesn't feel good. You know when you're getting a sales call, and you also know the difference when you've got someone who's calling you that genuinely is interested in you, cares about you, generally cares how you're doing, and takes the time to warm you up a little bit and have a conversation. So when you're making your phone calls, make sure that you are taking time to warm that person up. Ask them, if you've got notes maybe from the last time that you spoke to them. So going back to the example of a breast cancer survivor being interested in hosting a tasting event this month, that's a great conversation starter before then you would ask for them to book a tasting event with you. So why should someone host? So if somebody's kind of on the fence and they're not sure, it's a great opportunity for you on that phone call to kind of walk them through how easy it is, A, to host a tasting event, and then B, what are the benefits to them as a host. So obviously we've got a newly revamped host rewards program, which is fantastic. So we've got uncapped free credits that they can potentially earn based on their sales. There's been so much going on, obviously, with Mother Nature, and people are really looking for ways to donate to hurricane relief efforts for Harvey and Irma and Maria. And so that might even be a great thing that you could suggest as well. If someone wants to raise money for one of those causes. And then again, obviously October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is another huge, huge fundraising month. So in addition to kind of what's in it for me, right, for the host, they're getting some free credit, but at the same time, people are generally in the mood right now to give and find a way to help give back and support causes and organizations similar to the Red Cross and Team Rubicon and others that are working so hard right now with disaster relief. That's a great suggestion too. If you've got a host that doesn't know what cause they want to support, but they just want to get together and have a wine tasting, that's fine. You could suggest or recommend one of our cause partners as well. So I suggest spending a little bit of time also with your prep work. I'm going to come back to you guys. Spending a little bit of time with your prep work to look in VIA University through all the resources that we have under booking, print off the things that you want to have printed off and within arm's reach. If you're not super comfortable with maybe what to say over the phone, take time to kind of jot down things that are, bullet point out the things that you want to say. And then just don't be scared. Get on the phone and be yourself and reach out to people, and connecting with them one-on-one, being yourself. That's what's going to make the conversations, the booking conversations, much easier for you. And then we are really delighted to let everyone know that on Monday next week, we are inviting all of our CEOs to join our happy hour hangout at 6 o'clock Pacific time. And make sure you check the Vine, or if you didn't see the Vine, you can go into your back office and you'll see the most recent edition of the Vine, and it's got all the call-in information. It's a Zoom conference that we do. I'm going to unshare my screen here and come back to you guys. It's a video conference that we do once a month with our directors and above, where they get to meet with me and Sabrina and Jake and Tiffany, and we have other special guests. We give sneak peeks and insider information to a lot of things that are coming up, and definitely the one on October 2nd is not to be missed. So we would like to invite all of you into leadership. Hop on the phone with us and join our happy hour hangout on Monday. We do have a very big announcement that we are looking forward to sharing with the entire community. So it is worth your time, and we hope to see everybody there. So I will take a breath, and Sabrina, do we have any questions in the chat box, or we can go ahead and open it up for questions?
There are no questions currently in the chat box.
Okay. Who's excited about booking up their calendar for October?
You can go ahead and unmute yourself if you have any questions and want to ask us. Let's see here. Tracy Manning, let's book our brains out.
For sure.
Levon says, October is full. I'm booking into November. That's so good, Levon. Oh my gosh. Rachel says, any suggestions for last minute cancellations?
That's a really great question. So it's a little tricky, right? If you've got somebody who's canceling, like a host that's canceling last minute, they more than likely already have their wine. So anything that you can do to try to salvage that would be great. So like maybe if they had their event set for a Friday night, maybe if they could move it to Saturday or Sunday of that weekend because they've got the wine. If for some reason they can't move the physical date of the party, within a couple days, you could potentially convert that into a Facebook live tasting event and go live on Facebook and just encourage them to get their people to meet you over on Facebook. And you can still use the URL unique party link and get orders that way. But I would still, if you have to do that, if you've got someone, let's say, that is supposed to do a tasting event with you tomorrow night, she just called you today and said, oh my gosh, girl, so sorry, something came up, I've got to cancel. What I would do is I would say, you know what, no problem. I'm going to set up a Facebook Live at the same time that our event was going to take place tomorrow night. Help me get your friends over to that live, and I'll share the link so that they can order. And then let's reschedule, because I really would love for your friends to have that tasting experience. Let's reschedule an in-home live event as soon as we possibly can. So that's maybe one way you could salvage it. Has everyone got their frosting ready to celebrate Jess? Yes. If you're not sure what the scoop is with all the frosting pictures, you guys, we've got a CEO, Jess Landau, who is very, very close to a very big promotion, and she celebrates with her daughter by eating frosting. So if you want to join in the celebration and post a picture of eating frosting, my kids have been asking me for a week now when we can eat the frosting that's in the refrigerator. So I think today's going to be the day.
I love it. Yes, I think so too.
Awesome. Any other questions about booking or the booking blitz? Perfect. Okay, so in the meantime, guys, just make sure you've got your contact list ready to go. Figure out when you're going to dedicate an hour of uninterrupted time and you're going to do nothing but book. Get that on your calendar. Have your open dates calendar, and it's awesome if you're booking into November and December. Remember, host coaching is going to be key if you're booking further than 2 or 3 weeks out, but definitely don't hesitate to book November and December. If you're full and you don't have any open dates till then, that's okay. So you're just going to fill in those dates as quickly as you can, and then we'll move in transition to talking more about host coaching training once we get everybody with full calendars for the month of October. So have a fantastic day, you guys. I look forward to seeing you all on our happy hour hangout on Monday, and get your frosting ready. Bye.